Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem, Jane. It is still Shabbat, and I was actually not planning on making any video right now. I am trying to do what people have told me to do, and that is to rest on Shabbats from Friday night until Saturday night. And I have started, this is the time where I don't respond to phone conversations or text messages, because for my own well-being, during the week, I need to try and just take 24 hours where I just give myself, my body, my mind, my heart, my soul, my feelings, everything a little bit of a rest. But given the fact that we are in a war and things are happening all the times and things are happening so fast and mainstream media simply don't seem to be able to get it right, I just quickly want to jump on and make this video while actually in the midst of it, I'm in the midst of preparing dinner. But last night, terrorists from inside the Gaza Strip actually sent a barrage of rockets into Israel towards the central part of Israel and towards Tel Aviv. And within an hour, the Israeli military spotted that terrorist cell on a roof inside the Gaza Strip, and they were taken out. So that was very quickly. So thumbs up for the Israeli military. Overnight, and I'm gonna need some notes because I want to be able to give you the right information. But overnight, there were some counterterrorism activities in, I hope I say this right, Balata camp, which is near Nablus. IDF aircraft struck a hideout, an apartment where terrorists was hiding. They were planning an imminent terror attack on Israeli civilians and on Israeli soldiers. So because of the intelligence agency here in Israel being so on high alert, and they literally know what's going on all over this country, they were able to take out this terrorist cell before they managed to carry out new terror attacks, imminent terror attacks here in Israel. And this was actually the first time since the second Intifada that an aircraft was taking out a terrorist cell in near Nablus. When something like this happened, because I just saw in a European country where they were speaking to Red Cross and they were saying 4 Palestinians were killed near Nablus. No, there were not 4 Palestinians killed near Nablus. There were 4 terrorists killed near Nablus. And the Israeli military always goes out and they say who they are, they say what they have done and the plans that they are planning, and that's why they had been taking out, and they did that again. So I just want to quote again one of these terrorists. His name was Mohammed Sahed. He was a prominent terrorist in the city of Nablus. He was involved in shooting attacks near Nablus. He was planning further terror activities. And one of the more significant terror attacks that he took part in was a shooting attack here in Jerusalem in April 2023, this year, where 2 people were wounded. He had a long list of terror things that he had participated in addition to arresting him or taking out this terror cell. The police also dismantled an explosive production facility in that area with ready-to-use explosive devices. Furthermore, an engineering vehicle exposed explosive devices that was concealed underneath and on the side of the road. And of course, these explosive devices they are putting under the road, it's in order to afflict casualties to the Israeli military when they are coming in. So thank you to the Israeli Defense Forces for taking out this terrorist cell before they managed to carry out a terror attack or more terror attacks. I want to say something because, again, and I have spoken about this a lot, but there's so much focus on the hospitals inside the Gaza Strip. So I want to give you a quote, and this is the commanding officer of the Southern Command, Major General Yaron Finkelman. He said, "We see the presence of Hamas in all the hospitals in Gaza. It is a definite, clear presence of Hamas terrorists They are cynically using these hospitals, as we can see in the heart of Shifa. So Israel continues to find tunnel shafts, they continues to find weapons in these hospitals. And then of course Al Jazeera came out with another lie saying that Israel has told everybody in the Shifa hospital they had to evacuate. You have to remember, if you watch Al Jazeera, they are saying what Hamas wants them to say. So the Israeli military went out and they said at no point did the IDF order the evacuations of patients or medical teams, and in fact proposed that any request for medical evaluation will be facilitated by the IDF. So what did happen was that following the request of the director of the Shifa hospital, the IDF agrees to expand and assist evacuation from Shifa hospital. For the people who still want to be evacuated, they can get out of the hospital. The IDF is securing a safe passage for them. So what also happened is, and this is really, really important, what did Israel do when Hamas don't care about the civilian population in Gaza and they're using them as human shields? They're stealing their food, they're stealing their medicine, they're stealing their money and everything coming in. What did Israel do? Israel brought in 6,000 liters of water, 2,300 kilos of food, including fish, canned food, bread, spreads, and dates to the Shifa hospital. So Israel is bringing in food, they're bringing in water over and over again. They have been bringing in incubators to the premature babies. So this is incredible, and Israel still have medical teams also in that area, in the hospitals. So no, Israel did not tell the whole hospital to evacuate, which is what Al Jazeera is saying. That's a flat out lie. Israel has said, for those who want to leave, we are evacuating you, we are guaranteeing you a way out of this hospital. So it's very, very important that you understand the difference and that you hear the truth that you probably don't hear in mainstream media. Israel continues to bring in food to Shifa hospital, while at the same time they are finding more and more proof that Hamas is using these hospitals for their own personal gain. So I also want to say that the death toll from the Nova Music Festival has risen with 100 people. So now the toll is 364 people were brutally murdered in that music festival when Hamas came in from different sides and they started shooting at people. And there were only one way out of that music festival. There was only one road leading out. And when people came out and they tried to flee, they were waiting for them, and they plainly executed them. So that death toll just went up to 364 young people, including, of course, a lot of foreign nationals. There were also 40 kidnapped from that music festival into the Gaza Strip, and several hundred people were injured. I also saw it came out that many of these people has been submitted to psychiatric hospitals because of the trauma, because of what they witnessed, because of the massacre they saw, the mutilation, the rape, the executions of their friends. So many people have been committed into psychiatric hospitals. They need help. So it's really bad. Right now, if you can hear helicopters, that's because a lot of families to the hostages that has been held inside Jerusalem, inside the Gaza Strip, they started marching 5 days ago from Tel Aviv. So they have walked from Tel Aviv here to Jerusalem, and they will set up a demonstration tonight in front of the Prime Minister's office, just speaking their heart out, saying my mom, my dad, my sibling, my baby, my child, my grandmother is held hostage in the Gaza Strip. We need them out. What are you doing? And of course, a lot of people are helping them or walking with them in that process. So there's so much going on. So that's why I decided, in the midst of actually cooking dinner, I decided to just jump on, even though it's still Shabbat. I also want to say that people are contacting me, asking me, Jane, you spoke a little bit about that there's people, they need help because a lot of the foreign workers have left. And yes, that's true, but it's not just arriving in Israel. This has to be orchestrated, it has to be planned, it has to be done legally. It's a volunteer basis, of course, there's no salary, and I don't know anyone personal right now that I can refer you to. I don't have contacts with anyone right now that I can refer you to, so it has to be through some organizations who is setting up this kind of thing. So they will connect with you. They will find out what about plane tickets, which of course you have to pay yourself. But when you arrive to Israel, is there going to be housing? Are you going to find out where you're going to live? And you need to let people know here in Israel, how many is coming? When are you coming? How long are you planning to stay? So there's a lot of logistic details that needs to be sorted out, which I have absolutely nothing to do with. And people are asking me, do you know anyone you can refer us to? Right now, I don't. I have just seen on TV how some people came in from abroad and they were interviewing some of the farmers, but I don't have any details. So I will try to look into it, but that was just an answer to these people who have asked me right now, Jane, do you know anything? So as you can see, my TV is on, even though it's Shabbat and even though I'm trying to rest. And we still have testimony upon testimony upon testimony coming out. And I want to end by saying this, and this is important that you hear this. I spoke about this before. But after Hamas breached the fence and they came into Israel and they mutilated and they raped, they decapitated, they burned alive, a second wave came in, and that was the civilians in the Gaza Strip. And they came in and they stole from the houses, they looted from the houses, they walked around amongst the corpses of the dead Israelis, and they took part of raping people here in Israel, the civilians inside the Gaza Strip. They went back. A third wave came in of civilians on that day who continued to do the same, to rape. These are not my words. These also came out from militaries, and this is what we have also seen in some of the video documentations and the testimonies from people who witnessed this. I just saw an interview with Franklin Graham, Billy Graham's son. He was just here in Israel, and he was being interviewed by an American news outlet. And he also said, did you know, Hamas came in, then they pulled back, and then came the first wave of civilians, the second wave of civilians. They took part of the beating, they took part of the raping and stealing, and then they pulled it back. But now they are sitting in these are my words, but now they are sitting in the Gaza Strip, and they are the innocent civilians that, the whole world is screaming about. The innocent civilians, you can't bomb the innocent civilians. And the Israeli military know that a lot of civilians took part of this. It's on video. But Israel is not at war with the civilians in the Gaza Strip. Israel is at war with Hamas. I'm just saying this so you know the full picture. A lot of civilians came into Israel and they took part in these atrocities that took place here on October 7, but now they are sitting in the Gaza Strip screaming about being innocent civilians. And every single Hamas fighter who came in here, probably 90% of them were married. They came in here and they raped our children. They raped children also. They raped children, they raped women, decapitated, burned alive. And then they came back into the Gaza Strip and they went home to their wives, to their children, and they were all saying, well done. Did you think about that for a second? So I gotta stop. I just wanted to get all of this out there. So while people are screaming about Israel is doing this and this and this and attacking innocent civilians in the hospitals in the Gaza Strip, no, they're not. They're bringing in provision, they're bringing in food, they're bringing in water. They're only going after the terrorists. But a lot of the staff in these hospitals were cooperating with Hamas. They were hiding Hamas. They were shielding Hamas, they were protecting Hamas, and it's the same with some of the organizations in the Gaza Strip. They have known for years who Hamas is, and using UNRWA schools. They just found more weapons in a high school. They found more weapons and grenades in a kindergarten throughout the whole Gaza Strip. I said this before, the Gaza Strip is one of the biggest terrorist sites in the world. So thank you for sharing this video. I have to go back and make dinner. So just again, I don't have any contact as of now where I say you can go here and help here in Israel. I don't have that kind of information. It has to be done in the right way through organizations who is helping with all the logistics. If I hear about anything, I will share it. Bye.